Hello everybody, and welcome to another video. I may regret this, I don't know. I've been sat here umming and ahhing whether I want to record this for a while, but I'm going to go for it. This is going to be a live commentary video, because I don't do enough for Guild Wars 2 lately, about the new update that's come out. This is the Wintersday update, and it actually included a new story mission and the conclusion of the nightmare, the whole nightmares within the Tower of Nightmares arc to do with the Scarlet Briar. And this wasn't mentioned at all in the releases page. I started playing through it just now and was thoroughly enjoying myself. This is one of the story instances that I've really enjoyed much more than many others in the Living Story so far, and I've actually been quite compelled by the plot as it's going forward. So I stopped like a little bit of the way in and thought I may as well record it and we'll see how it goes. So yeah, if you guys want to experience this, a little recap on what's going on with the story. There's an evil Savari woman named Scarlet Briar. Her motivations have never been particularly made very clear by the devs, and she's been our nemesis for a long period of time. I think a lot of the community are beginning to get slightly tired of her. However, she has now got a bit of a portfolio, shall we say, of things she's done to disrupt people interior. And this story mission actually mentions and seems to look back on quite a few of those in a really nice way, a way that actually makes me think it means something, and in a reflective manner that really feels quite strong to me. So I was really enjoying it. Currently in Keswick's Hills interior, there's been a giant tower which Scarlet basically orchestrated the construction of by pairing the Nightmare Court and the Crate together. She convinced the Crate that this tower was going to summon one of their prophets. We came in to save the day, and as ever, Scarlet just backed off and said, aha, everything's going according to plan. So, what is her plan? I guess that remains to be seen, but this seems to be the instance that will conclude this whole story with the tower. And Keswick's Hills has now changed back something to not what it always used to be. Now it's changed to a completely another version, which we'll show as we go through the video. But anyway, there you go. That's 2 minutes of ramble. Let's do it. Marjorie Delacroix and Lady Casimir Mead have both been attempting to bring down this tower for a long time. As this patch has gone along, we've been injecting antitoxin by completing a story instance over and over and over again. And as you can see, this bar is nearly full now, but they haven't been able to inject the final bit. So we get a mail when we log in game today, in which Casimir Mead calls us to their aid, who says, it's time to end this nightmare. Marjorie and I have reached an impasse. For weeks, we've delivered injection after injection straight into the toxic heart of the Tower of Nightmares, but still it continues pulsing and corrupting the Keswick's Hills region. We're not really sure what we're missing, but with Scarlet anything's possible. We urgently need you here with us. I've set up a mesmeric portal that will take you straight to us at the tower's heart chamber. Please come quickly. And so our story begins, and yeah, this was really fun, I gotta say. I only played a bit, so this is why I say I might regret it, but we'll see what happens. So you can speak to Lady Casimir, she's who just sent us the mail. She says, my apologies for the rush to the heart chamber list, but Marjorie needs your help, and there's no time to waste. We say, on my way. And Marjorie Delacroix here says,
God's bless. It's been weeks and it's still alive. We get close and something interferes. It has to be one of Scarlet's tricks.
I'm so tired. What are we missing?
Not we, me. I'm missing some key element. I'm so exhausted I can't see it. Will you have a look around? See if you can spot the weak point of these magical defenses.
We'll be here if you need us.
And so it falls to us to deal with this problem. So we got to explore the top of the tower. This is it. This is the end of the previous instance, last patch. This giant gyrating wall, this center of the tower where all the toxins coming from. It actually has a really cool sound effect that I never really realized existed last time I was playing. This was the thing we used to interact with and inject antitoxin into it, but it's not working anymore. There is another injector here which we can interact with. And it reads that this antitoxin delivery device broke down before it could deliver its full dosage. There's some antitoxin left in its reservoir, so we're going to grab a little bit of antitoxin from this thing. And does Marjorie have any extra dialogue? She says, take a look around, Liz. I've got a feeling we missed something. Scarlet would never pass up one last chance to test us. Wow, okay, Casimir can't wait to get away from anything that smells like rotting eggs. Now, last time we were in this instance, there was this door over here which would take us back out into Keswick's Hills just for a diving goggles. However, now, apparently, we can use the toxin on this vine passage and progress into a secret chamber we never saw before.
Why didn't I think of that? You've nearly solved it.
And Marjorie Delacroix is speaking to us as we do it, which is really good. I want more dialogue and stuff in these. The passageway is blocked by thick, fibrous vines. Although the vines are impossible to dislodge, they appear similar to the vines surrounding the tower's heart. We can pour antitoxin on the vines to break our way through. And our dialogue hasn't changed. No, that's good. All right, so we come into this room here. And I wonder if Marjorie has any more dialogue for us. Casimir is actually going to stay behind.
Damn Scarlet's eyes. She knew we wouldn't be able to just kill this plant.
So this seems to be some kind of a lab that Scarlet set up, and in the top right we see that we've got a bunch of different puzzles to solve. A Molten Puzzle, Aether Blade, watchknight, Toxic. And this is really cool, and this was quite fun for me because this is an actual story instance that is about a lot more than just constant fighting, right? And actually involves us a lot more heavily into the story. Like, you have to pay some degree of attention to complete this, and that's what I really like. So you can see there's a watchknight over there, there's all kinds of stuff. We're just going to work our way around the room. So we've got a sturdy stick we can pick up. And that's now gone in our inventory. A strong, useful length of wood. So we'll see what that's used for. There's a toxic spore pod here. And the game says that this toxic spore appears different than the others. Its tougher hide is unyielding, and my gathering tool can't take a sample from it. So we can try to smash it open, or we can examine the pod more closely. A closer inspection reveals signs of prior experimentation. It would appear Scarlet was trying to hybridize a more resilient casing. So this is just one of her experiments. We can touch the casing. And it reads that the pod's casing is cool to our touch, and it seems to react ever so slightly to my body heat. So I'm assuming to solve this puzzle I need something from in this room that's very hot or very cold. But we shall see what happens if we try to smash it open, which I never tried to do before, for the record. Oh, wonderful, that summoned a bunch of enemies. Well, okay, so I take it back. This is not... well, okay, it's got a little bit of combat in it, but there's also a lot of dialogue and more interesting stuff too. So we've got a veteran toxic crate Damos to kill here. Wow, that's hilarious. He actually managed to down me. I'm playing like such a noob lately. I really need to sort out what my Ellie's doing. They also made Arcane Wave a ground target, which is pretty interesting. Oh, there's another guy too. Okay, we'll fight you. Alright, there we go. So they've been dealt with. Is that me solving the puzzle? Interesting. Maybe I should have just left the spore. It probably didn't seem to help very much. Okay, so we'll move to the next area of the room. Okay, no we won't, because all of this stuff has just been disabled. Oh, what? Actually, guys, I'm going to reset this instance because loads of stuff got disabled here that I know I can interact with that probably has got something, another way, an alternate way of dealing with that spore. So I'll see you in a second without fighting those guys. That could be what we're doing here. We like get an option of which way we want to do it. Okay, we're back. Right, this time I'm not going to deal with the spore pod. If you look here, there's actually a lab table we can interact with. So we'll interact with this. It says that this table is strewn with experimental equipment and supplies. There are different types of sample containers, and near the center, a full beaker of lamp oil. So I wonder, if I pick up this stick, can I then dip it in the oil? No. I was thinking, and then maybe set on fire or something. You know, I'm playing as an elementalist, so you'd expect... Oh no, look, there's some dry roots over here. Yeah, I'm sure I just need to set fire to all this stuff. Here we go. So I've now got a makeshift torch handle. The dried roots wound around this sturdy stick's end are ready to be soaked in fuel. Okay, right, so now let's soak them in fuel from the lab table. There we go, soak the dry roots in lamp oil. See, this is fine. This is enjoyable, right? It's got nothing to do with the combat of Guild Wars 2. It's to do with dialogue, it's to do with reading, it's to do with thinking, and it's to do with interacting with the environment and combining items in various ways. Like, it's not difficult, and Guild Wars 2 doesn't have very much of this stuff. Right, and then we'll light this fire pot? Oh no, okay, we'll just set fire to the torch, and now we will burn the toxic spore. Okay, hold up the torch to the pod. Ah, sweet, and by completing it in the non-combat way, we got rewarded for it, I suppose. Or maybe not. This sample retrieved from a dried-out toxic pod still appears to resonate with residual energy. Okay, so hold on. This is giving me an item I otherwise wouldn't have had, or maybe I accidentally picked up before, but I'm pretty sure this is unique. Okay, so we've got that. There's a bunch of stuff here too, which we'll be able to interact with once we revive this watchknight. So if you guys haven't been following the story... Back in summer, the Queen's Jubilee was going on, and the humans created these things, or bought or acquired these things, the watchknights. They were the defenders of humanity. Scarlet came along, and the mechanized creatures, of course. Scarlet came along and just took control of all of them. And turned them into her own twisted abominations. She laughed about it, right? So we haven't seen these things in the personal story since then, and now they're sort of looking back on that, and they're sort of saying to us, hey, look, this was still relevant in some way. I immediately, earlier on, when I saw this watchknight, I was like, oh, this is really cool. So we can press F and interact with it, and we get the information that this watchknight stares ahead impassively, though it clutches its weapon tightly, suggesting that it retains its basic programming. This is really cool. So, hello, can you hear me? Do you understand? The watchknight gives no indication that it has heard or understood. However, next to it now is a scribbled diagram Like, were they ever clear whether Scarlet had created the Watch Knights or whether she just manipulated the Watch Knights that had otherwise been built? Because I always got the impression they'd just been fed to humanity from Scarlet in the first place, and then she'd programmed them to, on cue, turn into her twisted functions. But you'll see the dialogue here in a second. So this is a scribbled diagram that reads, "This appears to be part of a Watch Knight schematic with Scarlet's notes scrawled into the margins." We can try to read the notes, which gives us the message that most of Scarlet's notations are purely technical, though one reads, "Stupid humans always in my way," and another reads, "Do not use the deactivation phrase until we've secured the Queen's Pavilion." So go back to this question, okay, of what are Scarlet's motives? Okay, we know that she attacked during the Queen's Jubilee and she kidnapped the Queen, but why has she done this, right? They've not been clear to us. Why did she have it out for humanity? But here you can see she says, "Stupid humans always in my way." What are they hinting at there? This is great. This is actually them saying, look, there is a reason why she did this. Who was in her way? Which human was in her way? Why was all of this necessary? And it's right next to the Watch Knights because we're meant to be thinking about the Jubilee. And this is brilliant. This makes it feel much less like, you know, a random episode in a cartoon that was just total throwaway. This has relevance somehow. And it's cool. And then, of course, the second line, this idea that each of these Watch Knights has got some kind of activation phrase. Now, if you guys remember at the Jubilee, it was during the Queen's speech that then Scarlet arose on the scene and she spoke to the Queen. And as she spoke to the Queen, all of these things activated. We're going to see behind the scenes how that worked, because here there's an Asuran recorder, which we can press F on, and it reads that Watch Knight voice command protocols, phrases to remotely trigger various functions. So we can look at the first phrase, which is "Nobody breaks my toys but me." And this is something, presumably, as far as I remember, that Scarlet said. We can return to the protocol list, look at the second phrase, "These Watch Knights you're so proud of, mine now." This is exactly what she said. If you guys remember, during that cutscene, that's what she said, and that's when everything happened. How cool is this? So it's not, you know, some random thing that they could have just thrown away. This is great. It actually means that what we're seeing has more significance than otherwise the game's led on. Most people just disregard stuff, but when you actually put this kind of detail into the small moments, people feel like it's more significant. And I really enjoyed reading both this and this. I wish I could remember exactly when this was said. "Nobody breaks my toys but me." That's not got to do with Wintersday last year, does it? I'm pretty sure not. And then the third phrase, "Nothing wrong with you I can't fix forever." Again, was that something we heard before, I ask myself? I'm sure this will be all over the forums. Or what excites me as well, because I can't remember when this was said, is the idea that maybe it will be said sometime in the future, and we'll randomly hear that phrase again and something will go on. And in what context was this said? I really can't remember. But it's exciting, isn't it? So we've got a scribbled diagram here too. This appears to be, and there's no more real information, it's just letting us know. So we can come over here. Now, this Watch Knight stares ahead impassively, though it clutches its weapon tightly, right? Now, I suspect if we say, "Hello, can you hear me?" it's not going to react. The Watch Knight gives no indication that it's heard or understood. Fine. Now, I believe if we say, "These Watch Knights you're so proud of, mine now," that's going to turn them all into her twisted, crazy things. "Nobody breaks my toys but me." When did we hear that said, if ever? What command would Scarlet have programmed into these to make them, you know, just give information? "Nothing wrong with you I can't fix forever" sounds like it would be pretty relevant for... Well, but then that sounds really final as well. Okay, so here's my thinking. If I say this, it might just kill it. It might just collapse, because that sounds like the kind of thing she'd say to a broken machine just to make it self-destruct or something, right? "Nobody breaks my toys but me." That also sounds like she'd break it, frankly. But maybe, no, "Nobody breaks my toys but me." That means someone else has broken it, and she wants to say this to repair it so that she could break it at a later date. I'm going with this. I'm going with "Nobody breaks my toys but me," and my suspicion now is that we've never heard either of these lines. Let's go with that. Yeah, there we go. Wait, maybe? Yes? He's just gone to sleep. That's fine. I think that worked. I think that was the good win. I think we got that. I think we were smart about that. Awesome. Watchwork core. This still intact power core is not letting me read it from there. This still intact power core has a crystal input socket at one end. I remember people data mining these items, actually, and thinking they were going to be significant for something else. Okay, awesome. Wow, I think I got that right. I think she probably just would have blown up and not given me what I wanted, or turned into a twisted abomination for me to fight. Okay, so that now we've got two left. Scarlet's Forge and that Inquest Terminal over there. So let's go have a look at the forge. This forge burns brightly with an arcane fire ready for the crafting of mystical recipes from unique ingredients. Okay, so I guess I'll get an item for each puzzle, and then I place them all into the forge at once, and And this could give us our weapon to remove the thing. So we've actually got a molten coolant box over there as well. Well, hold on. What's this Inquest terminal then? Let's have a look at this. This portable console has seemingly been modified by Scarlet. Yeah, I looked at this earlier. This was really exciting too. This was the moment I decided I wanted to record this for you guys. The last user was doing an analysis of test results. There's also a rotating central power interface. Okay, so we can try and turn off power, or we can try to interpret the analytic data. Now, at first glance, the data appears to be a matrix of Asuran characters and numerals. Well, that's fine. I'm an Asuran. And I like the way that the dialogue suggests that I can still read it. There are prompts to collate the data into quantitative and qualitative results. So quantitative would be numbers are the answers to questions given, and qualitative would be, you know, subjective sentences that people are giving, opinions, stuff like that. I went to quantitative last time. So for demonstration's sake, I'll just do this here. Another, because, you know, we're talking about an engineer here, Scarlet. I'm thinking, you know, lots of numbers, maths might be on board, whatever. Another prompt appears requesting that the user choose whether or not to sort data by relevance, effectiveness, or efficiency. I went by relevance last time. Again, I don't know to what end I'm doing this, but I went by relevance. The relevant sample data suggests a correlation between etheric energy and mesmeric illusions. Again, a big feature of last patch, or a theme of the living story at the moment, is the nature of... Oh, and it's turned off on its own. Interesting. Is the nature of magic, right? And they basically said last time that chaotic energy and dragon magic were the same thing, right? And chaos has always been a large thing with mesmers. You know, their patron goddess Lissa had a lot to do with chaos magic. Chaos was a damage type in the first game. Think about mesmers and Guild Wars 2 have Chaos Storm. So are they trying to say this is all to do with mesmers and somehow the Elder Dragons too? I'm not sure, but I'm going to go back to there. I'm going to actually apply that data sorting. Okay, and apparently that's not helpful. Right, so this is sort of just an eliminate all options thing here. So let's go quantitative and sort by effectiveness. So relevance, the most relevant thing to Scarlet is this idea of what magic is, the nature of magic, okay? That hasn't slipped by me either. So the descending hierarchy of results lists air magic and Asuran alchemy as the most effective results. Wait, so we've just sorted by the most effective... Effective for what? For what task in Scarlet's eyes? The task of bringing this down or setting it up? Air magic and Asuran alchemy are related somehow. Apply that data sorting. Oh, there you go. So that was the correct one. However, I desperately want to see what all the other dialogue options were. So once again, I'm going to reset the instance and make progress back here, because this is the way I play. So I'll see you guys in a second. But there's our next thing as well. I may pick that up now, just in case it stays in my inventory. I'll see you guys in a sec. Okay, guys, we're back at the terminal. You have no idea how easy it is to actually come back to this. Okay, we're going to go back to quantitative here. This time we're going to go by efficiency. So horizontal bars of varying colors indicate that Char engineering is roughly as efficient as Silvari plant shaping. Okay, well that's kind of cool, but you know, not exactly a big bomb or whatever. I'm not expecting some massive reveal in some sub-dialogue menus that can be missed, but hey, still. It's pretty cool. We can try applying that. I doubt it does it yet, so it's not helpful. That's fine. Let's have a look at qualitative. I wonder if there's a good result in qualitative. Another prompt appears after going into this tree, requesting that the user choose to interpret submitted or extracted data. Well, let's see what was submitted. The console attempts to apply interpretation protocols, but is unable to resolve any data further. Okay, this feels a lot like fiddling about with computers and stuff in areas you really don't understand. And lastly, in qualitative, the extracted data. The console attempts to apply blah 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 blah. It's exactly the same message. Okay, that's fine. So, we will grab this. Also, something I feel like, so by effectiveness, there we go. Let's apply that. And grab our Aetherblade data. So here, look as well, right? That's a molten thing. Molten Aetherblade, Watchwork, and then Toxic. Okay, these are the 4 things that we've seen through this year. And lastly, there's the Forge, which is what we'll place this stuff in. This crystal... is right here. Aetherblade data. This Aetherblade data crystal waits to be plugged in to some sort of a device. Okay, so last of all, we've got this molten coolant box. I will cut that out because I was just being a moron. So, molten coolant box. Here we come, I suppose. Let's press F. This box has an override that forces an overload, a set of controls to shut down power, and a control to enter standby mode. So, why would I... Well, this is just pot luck what I pick here, surely. Think about the Molten Alliance. Is there any tip from what they are that could help me here? I guess not. So I'm hesitant to ever do the thing with the cross swords. But the cross swords hasn't worked for any others. Maybe this is the one where it does work. Anyway, let's just examine the controls. That doesn't sound like that's going to lock me out of anything. There are 3 panels of sliders, each marked with 3 symbols. The first panel has symbols that look like the sun, flames, and steam. Set the slider, so we're trying to shut it down. Sun, flame, or steam. I mean, who the hell knows, right? Let's just go... This sounds like the Flame Legion style stuff here. Let's just go sun. There are 3 panels of sliders, each marked with 3 symbols. The second has symbols that look like an icicle, a snowflake, and a drop of water. So sun plus... icicle? There are 3 panels. Gold, silver, and iron. Gold, because I'm going to say gold just because the Flame Legion are like colloquially or derogatory known as the Gold Legion by Char because gold is such a weak malleable metal. With the 3 sliders set, all that remains is to throw a switch on the panel below the sliders. Throw it. The coolant box whirs and clicks, but nothing else happens. The settings must not be set correctly. There must be a way to learn about this. Let's push the button to enter standby mode. The coolant box enters standby. Nothing happens on standby. Let's try and force an overload. Ah, that's just set me up with a fight. I feel like I've just messed up there. I really do. I'm going to bring these guys to a corner and like try and line of sight them. Dude, that guy would not die. Jeez. Okay, and we got a molten hallucination over there as well. That's pretty interesting. Because we are still in the tower after all. And again, in case, I kind of hope that people like the idea, like what they're seeing here. Because, you know, maybe that will get people a little bit more invested in what is actually going on with the story, you know. Anyway, so we got a hallucination there. And for people that might be out of the loop as well, this tower was just causing people to hallucinate. So there we go. We got a molten iron scrap. I have no doubt that there was a way of completing this by going through that tree and just getting lucky. But I'm happy that we've seen all of the dialogue anyway. So we now have 4 items. Let's place them in the forge. Scarlet's Forge. This forge burns brightly with an arcane fire ready for the crafting of mystical recipes from unique ingredients. Place the ingredients into the forge. The molten scrap, data crystal, watchwork core, and toxic spore sample are consumed by the flames. Something begins to coalesce in the forge. And I think Marjorie just grabbed it. Yeah, she did. Marjorie! Stealing credit for what I've done. Okay, and she's also already unlocked her final dialogue, I think, but we'll read it. That was amazing, Liz. You beat Scarlet her own game. We've broken a magical steel, but we still need to inject the last of the antitoxin. Yes, okay, that's fine. And what about you, Miss Delacroix, Miss Mead? Miss Mead, that sounds kind of weird. Is that what I think it is, Liz? I'm ready to wake up from this nightmare. I don't know what it was, honestly.
Did you hear that? I think you made it mad. This is going to sound crazy. But what if it knows what we just did? What if it knows what we're about to do?
And what exactly are we about to do?
We're going to pump every last ounce of my antitoxin into the stock of this thing until it can't take another drop.
Oh, you saw it here, guys. Marjorie's evil. Oh, yay, an arbitrary we must fight stuff section. Okay, and I'm really not confident fighting these guys. Okay, I'll go for the mini guys first. Okay, that's fine. There is sort of a bit of a discussion to be had on the profits of the crate and whether what we've been seeing, like, in this patch, whether that really was a profit. I believe, personally, it was not a profit. Just by the way that they dealt with all the dialogue and stuff. So I don't think we've seen any profits yet, and I don't think we'll see any for a while. Hopefully that vet goes to res the assassin, because then I can just nuke it down. Apparently he's not. Ah, that would be too easy. Okay, that's fine. He also doesn't seem to do too much damage, and he is largely very outnumbered right now, with my Ember and both I and Marjorie. Of course, he does summon hallucinations too. I've climbed this tower enough times now to know to focus these dudes before you get like 1,000,000 hallucinations on you. But there we go, so he's down. We'll kill this one here. I think this is the way all story instances should be done. I think ArenaNet underestimates the power of telling the living story without doing instances at all, and they don't do enough of that. And I think that was true for the personal story as well. They did way too much of it in instances. There was like one Sylvari starting quest in which you like interacted with stuff out in the real world, and it was a lot of fun. But they immediately sort of forgot that that was an option. I think they do underestimate that, but undervalue that. But as far as instances go, I think that, you know, allowing people to solo it, jump in on their own, solo it, or play with other people is definitely the way to go for a lot of it, and at least they've nailed that. And I think difficulty-wise, they're doing well as well. I think a lot of these story instances, people aren't really looking for difficult content here, so they really don't have to worry about that. The amount that they've hit is just fine for now, you know. It's not punishing to try other specs. It's not too punishing to play really bad specs like you see me on here. So I think they've got that going well. They just need to put a little bit more dialogue in there and a little bit more non-combat options in these, which is at last what I think we're seeing in this one. Okay, so now that they're dead, that did feel kind of arbitrary, but let's do it. Let's press F. Deliver antitoxin. The final one, and this is cool too, because I never felt like I was personally progressing that bar up there, but with this I do.
We gotta get out of here. All bets are off.
Okay, sure. I mean, I'm happy to bail. Though, where are we running to? Wouldn't it be cool if there was like an escape the tower sequence? Wow, the Tower of Nightmares will collapse in 30 seconds. What? Oh, they've got a portal. Ah, that's awesome. What if I wait? What if I wait? Oh, that portal's really cool. Let's get free of here. It's been long overdue for a warm soak and some 15 seconds and some aromatherapy back in Divinity Reach. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna see what happens. Why would they add this in there unless there was something cool that would happen? I don't mind redoing this instance. Yeah. Oh, I got a chest. Did that complete it for me? Maybe it's just an excuse to kick people out after a period of time. Wow, that was thoroughly... Wow, really? Dude. Oh, this is great. Come on. People have got to be getting into these cutscenes. And look at Keswick's Hills now. So this is what Keswick's Hills will look like forevermore. Well, you know, they may eventually do another update to Keswick's Hills, but it would seem a bit stupid, right? This is what Keswick's Hills has become. The horrible weather effects and stuff are now gone. We're back to normal. We get a reward. The Tower of Nightmares has been destroyed. We can either take 3 shell pouches or 3 heirloom seed pouches. That's actually a really cool idea too, you know, giving people the option here. Through champion bags. Also, we're guaranteed to get an antitoxin injector skin, 5 obsidian shards, and a tricolor key. I'm not going to say no to that. The tricolor chest now is a permanent element of this map. Enemies you kill in Keswick's Hills will give you pieces of this key to open that chest. What a wonderful world it will be in Guild Wars 2, where every map has different chests, like, and all different keys. That would be really cool. Keying into one of the biggest features for me of Guild Wars 1 that sadly has been lacking. Really cool. I'm going to grab these shell pouches. And yeah, this is Keswick's Hills. Any new people that start playing the game now, this is what you see, and this is the story of how this came to be like this. Really cool. Really, really, really interesting. And I think it's actually done a lot for the map. You know, it's not ugly anymore. It's got history here. It's got ruins that have story and permanence to them. How cool is that? And that's, I guess, been their vision for the living world. And this like arc, the bit with the tower at least, lasted a really long time. I don't think too many people will be complaining that this I mean, some people will. People that have been away for a year will be upset they can't come back and play this. And I think there should be features to facilitate that. I really do. But this has been here long enough that, you know, it's not like South Sun. It's something permanent that's changed with the world, that's been added to the game. And it has a story behind it. And it was there for long enough. So there you go. I know it wasn't everybody's cup of tea. But that's the Tower of Nightmares. The camp is still here so you can speak to people. Braham's actually... sorry, Rox at least is here. I don't know whether Braham is. But Rox is here. We'll have a speak with her, see what she has to say. She almost did it this time, I guess, in reference to Scarlet. The toxic spores are still spreading. Looks like new ones are growing from front runners. This may not be over yet. Are you ready to do something about it? Ready when you are. We'd follow you into battle, so let's figure out how to do this thing and get it done. Like Graham says, we need a plan. What do you know? Wait, is this old dialogue? She's an engineer, good with ironing gears, and she's no slouch with magic either. That's a dangerous combo. I think this is old dialogue. That sucks that they wouldn't have updated that. Or, I don't know, it doesn't seem particularly relevant. Casimir says, are you looking for anyone or anything in particular? Just checking out the camp. She says, we're trying to organise a relief effort here. We've already sent workers out to chop down those giant roots. We'd burn them, but we're afraid to release more toxins into the air. Okay, this is different dialogue. I need to learn more about Scarlet. Good idea. We need to pool our resources. I heard Scarlet has delusions of grandeur. She thinks she understands the way the world works, the way that magic works. No one can know that. Can they? Well, can they? She's evil. I hope it's not true. And Marjorie says, hey there, everyone's feeling better it seems, even the animals are frolicking. Chalk one up to the good guys. So, what do you think Scarlet was up to? And she says, so your guess is as good as mine. She nearly poisoned all of Tyria with this plant. That I don't like. I don't like stupid exaggerations like this. Nearly poisoned all of Tyria? No. Like, come on, it was a little bit in Keswick's Hills. Leave it that way. How are people meant to feel like it's epic when something truly cool is going on if you keep overusing comments like this? I don't like that. They do that an awful lot. Anyway, I'm betting she was after the toxin it created. Is that what you think too? No, I don't think so. I think something more was... Or ArenaNet want us to think something more was going on. Was she just... No, I don't think she was just messing with us necessarily. I want to say no, she never does anything without a reason, but a better one than that. I don't agree with either of these. Okay, whatever. She never does anything without a reason. So it seems the lady obviously has a plan. We're going to have to stop her, you know, whatever the cost. Let's just have a look at that other bit of dialogue. Why not? Because this game lets me do that. You may be right. She's as crazy as a loon under a full moon. She sure seems to dislike you. What did you do to her? Again, like this kind of personal grudge that I hope they dive into more. But they have sort of been developing that a little bit. I think it needs to get a lot further, though. It's too easily forgotten right now. Anyway, I took away her toys, we say. And, of course, that only happens if you play through lots of the living story, which is also good. And yeah, that's about it. We do have one final NPC here. This is Marjorie's helper D. This is who you used to buy all that stuff from. Has now changed. You can still get stuff like one key piece each day. So in theory, from now on, you can always come into Care 6 and grab the tricolour chest. But also, she has another thing available for sale now. Anything new to offer. For 100 spores, she can help us find better items while exploring Care 6 Hills. I don't know what I think of that. Is that going to be like a permanent buff? I feel like I should know more. 100 spores is a lot for a temporary magic find boost, don't you think? Sounds good. I don't have enough. What do I have enough for? That's really curious. 100 spores? That has to be like a permanent thing, doesn't it? If that is a permanent thing, that's a very cool feature. Anyway, guys, that was our little playthrough of one of the new Living Story updates. There's actually even more. As I say, this is the Winter's Day patch. There is more content in the that's come with Winter's Day, including all of last year's stuff. There's a new instance to do with Robotron, or Hobotron, or he's got a new name now as well. I will talk about that in a more exhaustive, regular patch video, including the balance changes, including all the other stuff tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching, though, guys. There has been a lot more with Winter's Day patch than perhaps you think. Ascended Armor's in the game. As I say, I'll explain more next time. This was just about the story instance, which I did enjoy in the end. So thanks, guys. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.
No questions.